Alright, let's expand. Avoidance is the breeding ground of fear. When you think about the things that weigh on you, the ones that gnaw at the edges of your mind, you'll often notice something. They're the very things you don't want to think about. The bill you keep putting off, the conversation you refuse to have, the memory you bury under distractions. These are not small things. They are precisely the things that shape you. And the longer you look away, the heavier they grow. Avoidance doesn't make them disappear. It gives them time to multiply in the dark. Fear lives in what you refuse to confront. The monster under the bed doesn't stay small because you ignore God. It grows with every day you pretend it isn't there. This is why avoidance is so dangerous. It tricks you into thinking you're safe because you've turned away, but the truth is, every step you take in the opposite direction strengthens the grip of what you're running from. The shadow grows taller behind you because you never dared to face it. The act of looking where you least want to look is not cruelty, it's not punishment. It's an act of liberation, because what you refuse to face you cannot control. And what you cannot control controls you. You hand over your freedom to the very thing that frightens you. That's the paradox. By running from it, you become enslaved to it. But by facing it, you strip it of its power. You may still have to wrestle with it, but at least the fight is on your terms, not in the dark. It's worth asking yourself, what part of your life do you deliberately avoid? For most people, the answer is immediate. They know the thing. It's the truth they always push away when it rises to the surface. It's the responsibility they keep postponing. It's the regret they never want to speak out loud. And they know deep down that turning away has never solved it. Avoidance creates an illusion of peace. But it's a fragile peace, the kind that breaks apart the moment you're alone in the silence. You see this in psychology all the time. Traumas that remain unspoken do not vanish. They echo. Anxieties that are never examined don't dissolve. They spread into every corner of a person's life. It's the same principle everywhere. What you hide from doesn't stay hidden. It seeps into you, shaping your decisions, coloring your moods, tightening its hold without your awareness. The refusal to confront is not neutrality. It's a decision to let your fears define you. And here's the hard truth. The longer you delay, the worse it becomes. The conversation you avoid today is twice as heavy tomorrow. The mistake you never admit becomes the shame you carry for years. The habit you refuse to face transforms into an identity. Avoidance doesn't freeze things in time, it accelerates their decay. You don't preserve yourself by turning away, you allow yourself to erode. Now imagine the alternative. Imagine the courage to look straight into the thing that terrifies you. It won't be pleasant. It won't be comfortable, but it will be real. And reality, as difficult as it may be, is always more bearable than the endless gnawing of what's left unspoken. The act of looking is itself a declaration. I will no longer be ruled by shadows. I would rather face the pain than be chained by the fear of it. That single act reclaims your strength. It proves to you that you are larger than the thing you feared. This doesn't mean you conquer it all at once. Sometimes the act of looking is the beginning of a long struggle, but the struggle itself is healing because it is honest. It gives you ground to stand on, a place from which to fight. And every step you take toward what you avoided makes you more resilient, more aware, more alive. A path of avoidance is easy, but it narrows your life. The path of confrontation is difficult, but it expands it. because every time you face the thing you least want to face, you grow larger while the fear grows smaller. You reclaim territory inside yourself that you once abandoned, and over time, you discover that the very place you were most afraid to look is the place where your strength was waiting to be born. So ask yourself, what are you avoiding, and what is the cost of that avoidance? You already know the answer because you feel its weight. The question is whether you will continue to run from it, or whether you'll turn around and look it in the eye. Avoidance is the breeding ground of fear, and the only way to destroy fear is to strip it of the darkness it hides in. Turn toward it. Look where you least want to, because that's where freedom begins. Alright, let's expand. Growth hides behind discomfort. When you reflect on the moments in your life where you truly changed, you'll notice something. None of them were comfortable. Real growth is never born out of ease. It's born out of struggle. The situations that forced you to adapt, the failures that humbled you, the responsibilities that felt too heavy. Those were the moments that shaped you. They weren't pleasant at the time, but when you look back, you can see clearly that's where you became more than you were. The reason discomfort matters so much is because it forces you to confront the parts of yourself that are still unformed. Comfort never asks anything of you. It lets you stay small, stay hidden, stay exactly as you are. But discomfort is a mirror. It shows you your weakness, it exposes your limitations, it makes you aware of all the places where you are fragile. And though that feels humiliating in the moment, it's also a gift. Because once you see where you are weak, you are also shown where you can grow. That's why the treasure you seek is so often hidden in the place you fear most. It's in the conversation you don't want to have, the challenge you don't want to take, the risk you don't want to face. Your instincts tell you to turn away because it will be uncomfortable. But discomfort is not a signal to flee. It's a signal that you've touched the edge of your growth. And if you step into it instead of away from it, and you discover that what looked like danger was actually opportunity. We have this idea deep down that life is supposed to feel good, that the goal is to eliminate pain, remove struggle, avoid hardship. But this is a lie that keeps people weak. Pain is not the enemy, it's the sculptor. Struggle is not the obstacle, it's the path. Every muscle in your body grows by tearing and rebuilding. Every skill you've ever mastered came through the discomfort of being incompetent at first. Every moment of maturity has come from wrestling with something you didn't feel ready for. It was uncomfortable by nature. And yet, many people spend their lives running from discomfort, which means they spend their lives running from growth. They choose ease over challenge, safety over responsibility, pleasure over purpose, and slowly, without even realizing it, they shrink. Their world gets smaller, their courage withers, they become less than what they could have been, not because life was cruel, but because they refused to endure the discomfort that would have made them strong. The irony is that when you run from discomfort, you don't avoid suffering, you create it. Because the discomfort you run from today becomes the regret you carry tomorrow. The responsibility you dodge doesn't disappear. It turns into the shame of knowing you could have been more. That shame is far heavier than the discomfort ever was. Short-term avoidance always creates long-term pain, but short-term discomfort, when faced directly, always creates long-term strength. So the challenge is simple but not easy. Step into discomfort. Do the thing you least want to do. Face the conversation you've been avoiding. Push into the work that intimidates you. Instead of asking, how can I avoid this? Ask, what could I become if I faced this? That shift in perspective transforms discomfort from something to fear into something to seek. It becomes the signpost pointing you toward your potential. And here's what's remarkable. When you embrace discomfort, it doesn't just make you stronger in that one area. It transforms how you see life itself. You stop being fragile because you no longer expect life to be easy. You stop being anxious because you trust yourself to endure. You stop being trapped by fear because you've learned that walking through the fire leaves you tougher than before. Discomfort stops being an enemy and starts being the training ground for resilience. And this is why the people who live with the deepest sense of purpose are rarely the ones who had the easiest lives. They're the ones who walked straight into difficulty and let it forge them into someone capable of more than they imagined. That strength, that wisdom, that depth, none of it came for free. It was bought with discomfort. And the same is true for you. If you want to unlock what's inside of you, you cannot run from the hard places. You must seek them. Because where it hurts is where you grow. So ask yourself honestly, where are you hiding from discomfort? What challenge do you keep postponing because it feels too heavy, too awkward, too frightening? That's the very place you need to look. Not because it will be easy, but because that's where your strength is waiting to be discovered behind discomfort. And if you want to live a life of depth, strength, and meaning, you must stop running. You must turn toward the struggle and to the place you least want to be, and allow it to change you, because that's where transformation lives.